Welcome back. It is 1639, last year of the decade in the last one. This dynamic is starting to not really work super well, but we are pregnant again. Um, Abigail has gotten pregnant out of wedlock and found a man that she wants to marry. Priscilla is taking a chance on Chogan. And Abraham is trying to, solidify his position as the new captain. We have a lot of birthdays this year, a lot. That could change a lot of things that are going on. So let's see where we go from there. Jason Waldrick, who was born off camera, no 12, 16, or 18. He survived. Then our baby, oh my gosh, I forgot our baby had a birthday this year. Austin Dubois and Jarvis Waldrick, no 4, 8, or 17. Austin, no 4, 8, or 17. Ooh, okay. Ooh, sorry, Jarvis. Theophilus Waldrick can get a 13 or a 19. That was close. Okay, Humphrey and Obadiah are aging up into teens. No 7 or 14. That was close. That was not. Will Humphrey get married? No 1 through 6. He will. Will he have children? Yes. What about Obadiah? Yes and yes. Okay, we're starting to finally add people here. Humphrey 4. Dubois and Obadiah Hobart. Okay. Who else? Now we have all of these birthdays. Okay, we have 4 birthdays. Philip Hobart, Abigail de Mahoon, Priscilla de Mahoon, and Abraham Larkin. No 3, 9, or 20. Philip, no 3, 9, or 20. Okay. Abigail, no 3, 9, or 20. Priscilla. Abraham. All right, they all survived. Now my dog is barking really, really loud. No 2, 6, 11, or 15 for Bernard. Wait, Bernard. Is Bernard even? Oh, our Bernard. Yes. Oh my gosh. Bernard, our husband, Bernard. No 2, 6, 11, 15. I didn't know it was his birthday. Oh my gosh. That startled me. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was happening. Okay, and then it doesn't look like we have any birthdays this year. Although I will age up people in order to marry them off. Like Priscilla will get married to Chogan, so I'll age him up. So that'll be fine. And the dog has come to see me now to tell me all about what she's barking at. Hello. And let's hop into the game. All right, you can tell by the title I've been lulled into a false sense of security, but that is going to happen at the end of the video, so let's go with this. So we are here in our household, and it is Austin's birthday, so we are going to age him up into a toddler as well as complete our daily duties. And we are also pregnant again with our next baby, so that is pretty exciting to have another baby today. So there he goes, blowing out the candles, very cute. And, as we've talked about, the dynamics in this household are a little off, a little rough. Everyone is kind of arguing more often. Bernard and Solomon's relationship actually goes down a lot. And I didn't even notice that it did. But I suddenly looked and I was like, what is going on with you two? So they are all really struggling with this dynamic. But for now, nothing is going to come of that. We're just going to be in our household with our children, or child so far, potentially children in the future, and see where we go with that. So back at home in the De Mahoon household, we have Abigail, who has realized that she is pregnant with Philip's baby. She did not know that she was pregnant when she left America, but she has figured it out since, and she is like, uh-oh, because even though she does want to marry Philip, and they're writing to each other and stuff, she realizes that this is a big problem, because even if they do wait, people are going to start noticing that she's pregnant. And so she comes to Sophronia and she's like, doesn't want to tell her that she's pregnant because she doesn't want to disappoint her, but she's like, look, I'm in love with Philip. I'm going to go marry him. I'm going to go be with him. I'm going to go live in England. And Sophronia's like, okay, well, I guess you can do that. She's not going to stop Abigail from going off to, find her future, but she is kind of like, wow, okay, this is all of a sudden. I thought that there was going to be more time for this, but that's fine. So anyway, Abigail arrives in England after several months. So now she's a few months along, at least. She's at least like 4 months along. And so she comes, and Philip is surprised to see her, because even though she had sent a letter, sometimes they take a really long time. But they're both surprised to see her, and she's like, I have to talk to you, like, we have to get married. And Philip's like, okay, like, what are you saying in front of my father? And she's like, I'm pregnant. And his father, Peter, is like, excuse me. Like, he's very disappointed in his son because of his actions. Like, he was always someone who, like, really loved a damsel in distress, so he is going to approve of their marriage, but he's also like, how could you take her virtue and then send her back to America? So he is not really happy with his son over that, and of course Philip is like, oops, yeah, I guess we're getting married. So they are, there's this whole conversation about it, because they just have to have a quick small wedding. Nobody even really knows Abigail in town. She's just like some rando that has appeared, and it's going to be pretty obvious that she's going to give birth very early. So they're like, okay, let's do this, I guess. So I'm going to age them both up into young adults, because although I need to stop her pregnancy, age her up, start her pregnancy again. Also, I've messed up the notifications on myself. Remember, everyone's always asking me, like, how do you get those notifications for, like, who's giving birth to show up? And I'm like, I thought I knew. I thought I was giving good advice, but for some reason it's not happening. Maybe I messed up everything when I redid my MCC settings, but nobody is informing me when they are having a baby. Anyway, so I'm just getting them pregnant again and working on that, and just, anyway. So they are doing good, and they are going to get married. So she is going to get a makeover so that she is more appropriately dressed for England instead of America. So she is going to get, her own outfit. I really couldn't figure out which one to pick, so I just picked one of the old ones. I don't even know if that style is relevant anymore, which is kind of the hardship about not really playing in England anymore, because I don't know what the fashion has changed in however many, almost 20 years since we've been there. But anyway, we are going to have them just elope in a quiet church ceremony, and everybody's going to just call it good. So you can see that she's pregnant. Like, she is pregnant. They're trying to get married quickly, so they're doing their best. And that is going to be what is going on with Abigail for now. I did want to keep a family in England, so I just thought it would be nice, because Abigail just, like, she deserves to find some happiness, after the childhood that she had. So we're going to have her go live her best life there. Meanwhile, back in the De Mohun household, we also are going to age up Priscilla and Abraham. It is also their birthdays, so let's get them a cake. I did remove some CC. That is why some things are missing, and the table is the wrong color, but we're just going to deal with it. And then, there we go. Just taking care of the cake. Get everybody in here. Let's age you up and call it good. So there we go. And then we're going to actually have Muriel do something, if only they finish their cake very quickly. Yeah, so Muriel's going to call on Elias. She's going to be like, hey, like, why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't you, I haven't seen you around lately. Priscilla's been gallivanting all over the place, and you are not really pushing for this marriage that I thought you wanted, that you were going to help me get money for, and, like, I was going to sell you my sister, basically, and yet you're not really doing your end. And so Elias is like, well, obviously, like, the rumors aren't really working. It's not really helping. Despite the fact that, those rumors are spread about us, she still hasn't agreed to marry me. It's still kind of not a thing. And she doesn't seem to be too bothered by it. And Muriel's like, well, he's right about that. But she's like, look, there are other things you can still do. You can come and you can complain to Abraham, who Muriel knows Abraham is caring about his image right now, especially since he's newly captained. So she's like, you need to complain to Abraham. You need to say that you did woohoo with Priscilla, and that you demand that she marry you, and that it's like this big affront, and it's super disrespectful that she is gallivanting around like that, and it's bad for Abraham's image and all this other stuff. So he's trying to convince Abraham and the family, and Priscilla is like, that's not true, we never did that. And nobody is really, vouching for her, because it doesn't really matter if it's true or not, as long as other people believe it, which is the unfortunate reality of the situation. And so they're all talking, and Sophronia is trying to help Priscilla. She is trying. She is like, look, like Priscilla can do whatever she wants. Like if it's her reputation is damaged, that's her business. And she's definitely trying to be helpful and trying to, be on her side. But at the same time, Abraham, who is the man of the house and gets the final say in these things, is kind of like, well, you're right. Like this doesn't really look good for me that my sisters are crazy and my other sister just disappeared and all of this other stuff. And so he's kind of like, all right, well, I think that Priscilla should get married to Elias. And Priscilla's like, absolutely not. Priscilla does not want to do that. And she's very unhappy with him saying that. And, they try to talk to him. And he's like, no, I made up my mind. Like, I'm the man of the house. You have to do what I say. And Elias is all grinning and happy. And Muriel has kind of excused herself because she doesn't. And then she's back. Okay. But anyway, so they're all like happy. And Priscilla is arguing very furiously about this. She's like, I don't want to do this. You can't do this. You can't do this to me. And Abraham's like, yes, I can. It's fine. I'm your brother. Like, well, your cousin, but they've grown up as siblings. And so Priscilla is horrified by all of this. She's like, you can't do this. Like, I don't want to marry him. I don't want, and she's talking to Sophronia. She's like, you said I didn't have to if I didn't want to. And Sophronia's trying to help her, but it's not really working. And it's just like all of this, like, building up inside, and like Priscilla being like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And, she does like Chogan, but they haven't really spent a ton of time together, and just like all of this stuff. And so, Abraham's finalizing the deal with Elias and all that stuff. And Priscilla is like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I have to find an escape. I have to find a way to leave. I have to leave this place because I got to get out of here. And I have to go and find Chogan because I know that he will take care of me because we have a thing. So she goes over. This is what happens when all of our Sims become young adults at the same year. But she goes over to here to go see Chogan, and she comes to him and she's like, look, my brother's trying to marry me off. Like, this is really bad. And I also forgot to update everything with Philip and Abigail. I forgot. They're gonna have 5 kids. But yeah, I forgot to update their stuff, but we are going to do that now. And just update the spreadsheet here, get that in there. Yeah, I totally forgot all of this earlier, so we are going to have to do that now. That's fine. And so anyway, she comes to Chogan. She's like, my brother's trying to marry me off. Like, this is a big problem. I don't want to marry someone else. I want to be with you. And I want to marry you. I want to, like, let's be together. And he's like, all right, let's do it. Like, he has this huge crush on her. He really loves her. They have all the way up in friendship and all the way up in romance. And so they are both like, let's do it. Let's like elope under the cover of night, away from our families. He doesn't even want to tell his family that he is going to marry her because he knows that they won't approve. So he's just kind of like, let's just do it. Let's just go get married. Let's get married. And so they get married. Now I'm going to update this because I remember. Priscilla actually rolled not to have any children. She is infertile, so that's a bummer. And then the color for the Yazzie family is brown, so we'll deal with that in just a second. If I could ever find the brown color, it was so hard. But anyway, so here we go. Priscilla is now Priscilla Yazzie, and she's now married, and I have to add them to the family tree because they're not on here. But oh, did I accidentally not change their last names? Hold on, let me check that. Is Priscilla's? No, okay, I did. Okay, everything's fine. But yeah, so then of course it was autonomous too, that his mother actually was being mean to Priscilla. So his parents do not approve. He brings her home. He's like, this is my wife. And they're like, what? What do you mean this is your wife? Because the Yazzie family actually has a lot of ambitions. The Metacomets have been having a lot of drama and a lot of trouble. And because of that, they were kind of hoping in order to, elevate their family status that they were going to be able to use their son to do that and use connections and potential marriage and all that. And then their son comes in and he's like, no, just kidding. I married Priscilla. And then back in the Larkin household, which it is now, because there's no De Mahoons left in this household, we have Muriel just chatting with Abraham a little bit, trying to get a feel for where he's at, because, like I said, she does want to have a stake in his life. You know, she killed his girlfriend, and so she is really looking to see if she can set him up with Sela. But he has different things in mind, of course. So he actually is after Temperance. And the reason he wants Temperance is because her father is very wealthy and has, is known for his very strong values, and it would be a good person for the captain of the guard to be married to. So he is focused on that. He thinks she's a really good option for him. He is not really listening to what Muriel has to say about Sela, because he doesn't think, like I said, Sela has anything to offer him. And so they're just chatting, and they are getting to know each other. They didn't really know each other super well beforehand, but he is inviting her out to court her, get to know her, and she is just going along with it. Like I said before, she is, she is just going along to get along. She is just doing what her family wants her to do, and she is not really into acting out or anything. She just behind closed doors is into her, creepy stuff that she likes. So they're becoming friends. Meanwhile, Muriel kind of is inviting Sela over because she's like, look, Sela, you have to be more proactive, because as you can see, like maybe they're peering out the window, kind of, not eavesdropping, what's the word? Like spying on Abraham and Temperance. I forgot her name. Abram and Temperance. And so they're just kind of spying on them. And she's like, look, like Abraham is not that into you. Like, you need to ramp up the charm. You need to ramp up your efforts. Like, what happened? I thought you guys were doing well. And Sela's like, I thought we were too. I thought we were flirting and having a good time and everything. And then Sela's like kind of mad, because she's like, seriously, some new girl from nowhere who doesn't have a rich history in our community and everything, and he's going to go after her. So she is not happy about that. So the next time that they're all at church, she does kind of corner Temperance and is very aggressive with her, is basically like, Temperance, like, I don't know who you think you are. I don't know if you think because your family has money that you're some big shot, blah, blah, blah. But you have to know that, like, you are not good enough for Abraham. He's mine, blah, blah, blah. And Temperance is just like, whatever. Because, I mean, she likes Abraham well enough, but she's not, like, super into him or anything. She's just like, okay, like, if I'm not going to marry him, it's fine. My father will pick someone else for me. She's not really getting riled up in the way that Sela just gets more and more angry, because she's like, what, you don't even care? Like, she's just like getting out of hand, because Temperance isn't giving her the response that she wants. She wants Temperance to kind of, cower and basically be like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But Temperance is not into that. She is not going to do that. She is like, I don't care. So that gets Sela really angry that Temperance is going to, is getting the guy that she wants, and she doesn't even seem to appreciate what she's getting. So she is really frustrated by that. And then we are going to head back to our house, because, like I said, for some reason, I need to fix my settings here. I don't know what's happening. But we are just having them have the babies. So she already had her second child when we weren't looking, so we're gonna have to roll for that. But yes, we have a second child in our household. It is also a boy. We're gonna rename him, because obviously he can't be named Danny. And look. Yep, I told you. False sense of security. We were doing so well. Everything was going so well. I was going to have Margaret find her true love and amicably get a divorce from Bernard and go and have babies with her new love and blah, blah, blah. And that's not going to happen. Oh my gosh, Margaret. I have tried for so long to keep Margaret alive. She has died so many times, and I've been like, no, 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 it's not your time. It's not your time. But the dice have finally betrayed us. In the last year of the decade, the dice have decided that it is Margaret's time. And I plead with Grimm. He does not care. He does not care. He's like, this girl should have died a long time ago. You're lucky you got 2 babies out of her. Okay, so anyway, we've lost Margaret. we've lost Margaret. Luckily, she left behind 2 sons, so, hopefully the kids live. And if they live, knock on wood, then we can, play with Austen as our heir or as our new patriarch. It's, I'm so upset. I loved Margaret so much and I had so much planned for her. And this is what happens when you plan ahead. You get expectations about how things are going to go, and then they don't go that way because the dice are mean. I have such a hard life, you guys. The next baby we're going to name Phineas. So, we have 2 children. Obviously, Solomon and Bernard are heartbroken, even though there was a lot of strain on their family dynamic. At the same time, they both were very close to and loved Margaret very much. And you can see that their relationship with each other really, really suffered. And so I think that they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time losing Margaret and everything. Like, they need to turn around and come back together. They need to turn around and decide to be together and to be in it, and to, even though Margaret is gone now, like, they owe it to her to, raise their family right. Meanwhile, we also have Abigail, who had her child. So Abigail's child is named Holly. I don't care about changing it. And they have 4 more baby tries. Also, the Waldricks had their last baby, Silence, and she was born just fine, and they have no more baby tries, so they're all done. And then we have birthdays. So we had a lot of birthdays this year, a lot of birthdays. And I am just so sad about Margaret. I had plans. Oh, you guys, I had plans for her, but I don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just disappointed. Anyway, birthdays. Jason Waldrick became an infant. Austen Dubois became a toddler. Jarvis Waldrick died. Theophilus Waldrick became a child. Humphrey Dubois IV became a teenager. Obadiah Hobart became a teenager. Philip Hobart became a young adult. Abigail, now Hobart, became a young adult. Priscilla, now Yazzie, became a young adult. Abraham Larkin became a young adult. Chogan Yazzie became a young adult. Phineas Dubois was born and became an infant. Margaret Dubois passed away. And Holly Hobart was born and became an infant. And then Silence Waldrick was born, but we don't have anything for her because she was born at the very end of the year. I'm going to try and figure out the notification settings. I don't really know what happened there, but we're going to try and figure that out. And I'm going to try not to be too sad about Margaret. I am very sad, but we're going to try not to be too sad and move forward with what we've got here. Everybody, knock on wood for Austen and Phineas, because I moved the next heir, Abigail, all the way to England. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get her back if both these kids die. So we'll figure out where to go from there. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this part. I don't even know how to say that because I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but it was definitely something. And in the next one, we're going to have a recap before we head into the next decade. So I will catch you guys then.